Hey, how's everyone doing? Cool. Hey, thanks for showing up. I'm glad you guys are all here. I'm really looking forward to this. We got a really cool, fun course going on. I got a lot of stuff planned. Hopefully, we're going to go from where we are today all the way to you guys all jamming. And the last week is probably what we're going to do a lot more of that jamming too. So there's a couple ground rules I want to just kind of quickly cover, and then we're going to kind of scoot off and kind of start doing the stuff. So this is the intro first hour, and so we're going to do group sessions here where we're just going to basically talk about a couple different topics. Today, for example, is going to be the how to lead one. Let me just pull that up here real quick. I swear I'm an organized individual. Let's see. All right. Sure. Yeah. All right. There we go. Cool. So yeah, we're going to go over, this is going to be the general session. We're going to go over different factors. Today we're going to be going over how to follow. That's going to be the main big point. Hello. Did you guys get a book?
Yes.
I did not.
Okay, you did not. Come get your book. All right.
Thank you.
All right, so this is where you're going to ask questions. This is where you're going to ask whatever thing that you're like, this is too dumb to ask somebody. Ask it. The whole point of this is it's a safe spot. The purpose of being here is to bond with everybody here. Like, I want you guys to be all friends. We're going to mix and match the jamming group afterwards, too. So every week you're going to ideally be jamming with different people. Sometimes it'll be the same people. Sometimes it'll be different. We also have different instructors every week, too. I did that on purpose as well, and they're all various different instruments. Like, they all play different instruments for the most part. Most of the instructors will be playing guitar just because that's the easiest to follow. But later in sessions, they're going to move to their other instruments. Like, I'll be playing more mandolin. I have Neil Sawinski who's going to be playing more banjo. We might have some dobro in there too. But the idea is that you got to get exposed to this stuff. So that's another big part of this class is exposure, right? So if there is something that you're not sure of, if you're like you want to bring something to breakout jams, but it's not in the books that I've written, just ask. Like, there's a good chance that it's going to be okay as long as we can follow some good guidelines. But the idea here is that we expose you guys to the higher levels of jamming. I want you to be able to walk into any jam, just any jam that you go into, and be like, I belong here. I can work with this. I can do this. These songs are not hard. Remember, drunk hillbillies play this music. They can't be that hard. Right? Also, congratulations. Everyone here is an honorary, or not honorary, you're an actual Outlanders Bluegrass, Progressive Bluegrass Social Club member as of today. So congratulations. I do not have your what's called documentation, so that'll come next week. But you're all Outlander members. The Outlanders Progressive Bluegrass Social Club is a nonprofit that I co-founded with a few folks here in Seattle. The whole purpose of our group is to progress the acoustic music genre in Seattle. So that includes a lot of big breadth. We're focused on bluegrass today, but that does include like gypsy jazz, Irish, trad, and things like that as well. We also have, there's a big old flyer in the back there for our Outlander Opry too. I encourage you guys to show up there. That's a great way for you to kind of take what you've learned and go jam with people from the Outlanders group and other places too. Speaking of jamming, we also host 4 jams a week. Whether you feel comfortable jamming or not, I encourage you to attend one or all of those jams as much as you can. It's on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If you go to the Outlander website, you can get all the details. You can just ask me or email me. Totally fine giving to you. But go to them. Either you sit there and watch, and you learn by doing that, or more ideally, you join in. If you don't feel comfortable, we'll talk about the inside and the outside circle too, and that's going to be, where you should start going. But practical applications of this stuff is important. The only thing you're going to get from this session, this course in general, is whatever you put into it, right? I am just here as a guide. I'm here to help you kind of realize probably what you may already know. But just remember, you got to do the work. You got to go to the jams. You got to make sure that you're asking the questions. I know this stuff. I don't need to ask the questions. All right. So real quick, does anybody have any questions just to start off with? Yes, thank you.
Can you explain the Outlanders logo real quick?
Stan's a graphic designer and I'm not. That's kind of
So
the
Stan's
basic
fault.
gist. Yeah, Stan does
That
most of the
explains
graphics.
everything.
Yeah, we had what's his name? This was done by a banjo player in Portland, the back of the hoodie here too. So, I have no idea. I just work here. It's kind of my thing. All right, so I'm going to start off with a couple questions, and just raise your hand or I don't know. How many people have been to a jam before? All right. I'm going to do the opposite. How many people have not been to a jam? Okay, great. Just out of curiosity, for the people that have not been to a jam, just what's preventing you from going? What do you feel like you need to learn to get to that point?
I'll be the person that causes the train wreck.
You probably will. That's okay. Like, I've caused more train wrecks than I care to admit.
And people will die.
No one It's Bluegrass. No, but that's a very, very valid thing, right? So it's the fear of jumping in. That's a valid, hey, it's going to be my fault. These guys know what they're doing so well. They call these songs. I have never even heard of half of these songs. I feel you. I was there. We can deal with that. That's easy. Next.
I would say I've been to jams but haven't participated in one of my apprehensions is I don't know enough tunes to be able to hang for the whole jam.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
That's great too. We can also work on that. I mean, a lot of that, again, just learning some of the songs. So we're going to go over that. We got 15 songs in the book that I gave you guys. There's also another 37. Why 37? Because I like odd numbers. But there's another 37 in the course book that I put on the website as well. So if you go to this page, everyone's been to this, the Bootcamp /students or dash students. Right. Well, you should. This is where,
Was I supposed to have gone there?
yeah.
How was I supposed to know that?
I've emailed everybody 8 times.
Yeah, I probably was.
It's going to spam at this point. Just go to that. It's mattcbruno.com /bootcamp-students. The password is just bootcamp, all lowercase. So go grab it. But on that page, on the website, you'll find a book. It's an 80-page book. That's why it's not printed, and that's why it's digital, because that would be way expensive. But anyway, long story short, that's got 37 songs written in both a standard key for chords and lyrics, as well as Nashville numbering, which we'll get to as well. So anyway, but yeah, great resource for that. The trick there, go to jams. Just go, write down the songs that you don't know, learn more, and that's it. Anybody else?
Essentially what those two people said is true for me as well.
Okay, great. Those are probably the two most common things. I'd be shocked if there was a third, but I'm just curious if there is a third. Okay.
Sort of a finesse of those is not knowing the music, not being able to follow along off book.
Yeah. So really what I would boil all this stuff down to is two different things, right? It's just this feeling that you need to know everything before you walk in the door, right? If you don't know everything, somehow that's going to cause the train wreck, right? That's essentially it, right? Now for everybody that's been to a jam, has this ever happened to you? Have you train wrecked a song, or have you not known a song that you've played? Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. When you've not known the song, what's happened?
It's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Right?
Somebody.
Just
It goes on.
Yeah.
It just goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And if you cause a train wreck, what happens?
You don't.
Nothing. Right? Nothing happens.
Yep.
Right? So the goal is not to cause train wrecks, right? The goal, and we're going to go over that. That's one of the classes, and I'm actually really excited about that one because I'm going to have the instructors force a train wreck on you guys and see what happens. It's going to be great. I'm very excited about that. But train wrecks happen, right? They're going to happen to the best players, to the worst players, to the easiest songs, to the hardest songs. It doesn't make a difference. Something's going to happen one time and it's going to suck. There's a way to navigate that, right? It's not the end of the world. The worst thing you're going to do, just stop for a second. Just take a second, take a breath, and jump right back in, right? So that's kind of the stuff that we're going to be going over a lot of, right? So I'm going to be talking a little bit more today, focusing on how to lead, right? This is when you're just getting into the jams. What are you doing, right? And when I say leading, what I mean is you're going to be choosing the song, right? So everybody's seen a bluegrass jam, right? Like at the very least, you've seen the circle, right? Okay. Jams, for whatever reason, always go in a circle, except when you get to pro level jams. Sometimes they start, picking and choosing. But all the jams that we run always go in a circle. My jam, because I'm anal retentive, always goes to the left, just because it's just more fun that way, I think. So when you're leading, you're the one that's calling the song, and it's going to start. You're passing the brakes to your left, basically, or to your right, whichever one you want. And so some of the apprehension that I've seen with people that are new to bluegrass is not knowing where to start, what song to pick, right? We're going to solve that very quickly because we got 2 songs that we're going to really focus on today. And we're going to play them all as a group as well. But we are going to play Bury Me Beneath the Willows. If you can't see that, you know, it's there, trust me. And then Hand Me Down My Walking Stick, right? Those are 2 easy songs. I'll throw the chords up on the page here. We're all going to play to that song together so that you guys can make sure you have it under your fingers. So we'll kind of do like a little bit of a slow jam. During that slow jam, we're obviously not in a circle, so I'm just going to point at people. And if you're comfortable taking a break, fantastic. If you're not, cool. We're just going to keep playing the chords.
One thing when I first started, I didn't know what, I thought when someone asked you I was taking a break, they meant like, hey, we need less people in the circle right now.
Oh, yeah,
a break,
are you not
a
going?
break is a solo.
Fair, that's a
Yeah.
great point.
Yeah.
my bad on that. There's some terminology that we'll go over too, and actually we're going to touch on a little bit of that today as well for the 1, 4, 5 and stuff like that. But yeah, so solos and breaks, those are the exact same thing. Songs versus fiddle tunes. Does anybody know the difference? One has lyrics, one doesn't. That's it. A vocal song has lyrics, always has lyrics. A fiddle tune never has lyrics. Some vocal songs are fiddle tunes. Angela and the Baker is a great example. It's a vocal song, but it's also very frequently played as a fiddle tune. Whiskey Before Breakfast is another good example. Mostly played as a fiddle tune, but it does have lyrics. In fact, I think pretty much all of the old fiddle tunes, like the older ones, not the ones that were written as fiddle tunes, I think all of the old ones were lyric songs that just somebody chopped off the words for. Close that too. Does anybody know? Do you guys know what the 1, 4, 5 is? You know what that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the 1, 4, 5?
So it's just going through a key. The 1 chord is the first major chord in the key. So if it's like G, it's going to be G. Then the 4 is going to be 4 chords would be C in that case, and then D would be the 5.
Correct. Yep. So in your handy dandy book, you'll see this thing right here. Right? This may look scary. It's not. I'm going to send you guys an email that has an even shorter version of this, where it's just going to have 1, the 4, and the 5, and that's all you'll see. Keep life easy, right? But any key that you're in will fall into this. There is one mistake in the book that was pointed out to me that I neglected. It's not on this one, I'm sorry. It's on the circle of things. But anyway, so this is going to be a really handy thing. If you've ever wondered why people say 1, 4, 5, it's just that. For the key is C, if you start on C, C is your 1, you count 4 over, C, D, E, F, 1 more over, you get your 5 chord, and that's pretty much it, right? So that's an important thing to know when you're calling a song, right? When you're leading a tune, all what you want to know is what key are you going to be playing it in, right? And then you want to know what the progression is. Ideally, saying it out by numbers rather than letters in most cases is easier. The reason for that is how many people play guitar or banjo? How many times do you use a capo when it goes to a different key, right? Quite frequently, right? So my my A as a mandolin player is probably your G as a guitar player because you're going to put a capo on the 2nd fret, right? How many people know what a capo is? Okay, so for you people that don't know what a capo is, which I negligently forgot to bring, capo basically goes straight over some frets here, and it brings everything up a key or 2, right? So if you put a capo on the 1st fret, you're moving everything up a half a step. So that's a sharp, right? So you're going from, for example, if you're playing a G chord, and you put a capo on the 1st fret, you play a G chord now where it should be on the 4th fret, that would be a G sharp or an A flat, whatever you call it. You put on the 2nd fret and you play a G chord now starting on the 5th fret, that is going to be an A, right? So with a capo, I put a little chart here too. When you see somebody with a capo and you see, oh, they're playing a G chord, well, if they have the capo on the 2nd fret, they're really playing an A chord, right? So just another handy little bit to know. Any questions on that stuff so far? Yes?
Should I bring a capo?
If you play guitar or banjo, probably. That's a good idea. Some people don't use capos, I will say. So there's nothing wrong with not using it. But in bluegrass, you do, as a guitar or banjo, you're going to want those open strings. And the only way to get that in certain keys is with a capo. So, definitely should. On a mandolin, I have seen people use capos on mandolin. That's okay, by the way. If you want to use a capo on a mandolin because playing B flat sucks, I get it. But like, try not to. I don't know about fills.
When you say a key that a song is in, are you ignoring the fact that someone might use a capo?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so like you would never put on a capo, play in the G chord position. You wouldn't still call that G. You would have to call it
Yeah,
A.
that's great. She's in.
You'd have to call it the real key, not the key that it
Correct.
looks like because you're able to use that chord position.
Correct. Yeah. You just say, hey, this is the key A. That's it. And then if I want to put a capo on, I will. If I don't, I won't. That's pretty much it.
So if you're going to use a capo, you need to be able to think pretty quickly about that.
Yeah, and that's where the national numbering stuff kind of comes more into play, right? This type of idea, because if you put a capo on, I call a song in the key of A, right? 1, 4, 5, right? A, D, and E. But you're going to play with a capo. You're going to play it here in G, right? So you're going to be looking at these chords. So being able to do that transposition in your head is important. Memorizing this is easier than it looks. Flashcards. Flashcards are your best friends. If you don't have, if you haven't used flashcards since you were a kid, don't worry. I still use them. They're dorky and annoying. But if you ever drive around Seattle and you're deciding to go up and down the 5 during the middle of the day and you have 3 hours to spare while you're in traffic, these cards are great. So I write out, and I used to do this a lot more. I don't do this as much these days, but when I was learning, write out what is the 1, 4, 5 in G. On the other side, G, C, and D, right? And then you just use those cards backwards and forwards. G, C, D. It's a 1, 4, 5 in G. What's a 1? Yeah. Super helpful, easy way to learn this. I will tell you that the most common keys in a jam, G, A, and D. Those are the 3 most common by far. Everything else, less common, but B and B flat are also very high among there, and you'll see those a lot too.
Are there common progressions too? Like 1, 4, 5, you said like 1,000 times, probably that one. Are there others?
Yeah, and we'll be going over some of those. You'll see in the book,
Okay.
right? But they'll be like 1, 4, 1, 5 songs.
Okay.
There's the "Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms" progression, which is basically just 1 to 5, then 1, 4, 1, 5. So we'll see a lot of these things, and I'll refer to them as well later on. Not this particular class, but I will have a whole list of here's a bunch of different progressions.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions before I continue? Great. All right. Don't need to worry about that. All right, real quick, we're going to talk about rhythm here, and this is important, right? So when you're in a bluegrass jam, what are you doing 90% of the time? Laying rhythm, right? That's all you're doing, right? Your job is to make the soloist or the singer sound better. That's it, right? This means that when you are playing rhythm, you need to be in sync with the rest of the group, right? In bluegrass, there's a very specific type of rhythm, right? This is different than like singer-songwriters type of stuff. And I'll do this on guitar, even though I'm not the greatest of guitarists. For those of you who don't know, I play mandolin mostly, so this is for you. I do this for you, whether you like it or not. So like singer-songwriter might go like, right, which is great if you're playing by yourself, but if you're playing with any amount of people, this is going to get things all muddied up real quick, right? And you won't be able to hear anything else, and you'll just be able to hear that. And the timing will slip, right? So on bluegrass, you have, easier if I move this up a little bit. Yeah, look at that. This is also in the book, so you can refer to it later. This is a generic idea, right? It's not like, you don't have to hold on to it hard and fast. This is also, by the way, not for waltzes. Waltzes are pretty much always 1, 2, 3, boom, chop, chop, boom, chop, chop. But otherwise, we have this, right? So 1, 2, 3. And that would help if I tune my guitar because I can set me on tune. But I want everyone to whip out their instruments real quick. And we're just going to try some rhythm stuff. And then we're going to get into kicking it off and leading sections.
It's not a jam if I don't run into someone's case.
What's up?
It's not a jam if I don't run into someone's case. I think I've got like a 50% hit rate.
At least you're here.
I haven't heard anything yet. That's it.
At least you're consistent.
Yeah.
Huh? Just very, very, very happy.
Yeah.
What do we got here? We got, there's a ukulele, alright. We got one banjo, good, alright. We got a good amount of guitars, we got mandolins.
Oh, yeah, fine,
We got a fiddle, alright, there you go. We don't have a bass, so I'm gonna have to start working on this.
Follow my chord.
If you're not tuning, don't play. If you're not tuning, don't play. You can tune, but don't pick. Like working on orchestra.
So, you bring your baton?
I should, right?
That'd be fine.
Use my foot.
Use a black and mild.
Okay. Everyone good? We got one more tuner. All right. No pressure, no pressure. That's all I need.
It's good. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It's close enough for bluegrass.
Yeah.
Again, drunk hillbilly. That's generally my answer for anything bluegrass, by the way. So if you ask me a question that I don't know, it's probably gonna be, yeah, it's drunk hillbilly. And if you're a drunk hillbilly, oops, I'm not being. All right, so I'm just gonna do this in G, right? So I just want everyone on G, right? We're just gonna kind of hang out, right? So for you guitarists, right, we're gonna go 1, 2. Fantastic, right? Now we're gonna change to the 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, D4, good. And back to the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, keep doing that. Keep going, keep going. Equal time to the mandolins, I swear. Alright, mandolin, we're gonna go. 1, 4. Yeah, alright. Cool. Anybody have any questions on that? You all did fantastic. Alright.
I felt like that was pretty fast and I was starting to fall behind and I would stop for a second and then start again.
Sometimes that happens, and if I was going too fast, oh, by the way, if I ever go too fast, just tell me to slow down. It's weird, when you get up on a stage, sometimes I go a mile a minute, and it's, just let me know if I'm too fast. But, yeah, that's also a great trick. If you do find yourself falling behind for whatever reason, or you're like, hey, I feel the speed is a little weird, you could try and like catch up by manipulating your strum first and seeing if that can catch you up. That sometimes you can just do it that way. But otherwise, if you're like, oh, I'm just like way off, I can't hear where it is right now. It's always cool in a jam. Think about it. You got like 6, 7, 8 people, 9 people, sometimes more, in a jam. If you play or don't play the rhythm, it's not really impacting anything, right? If you play the wrong rhythm, it's going to impact everything. So it's always better to take a break, step back, and then come back in. Be mindful though, if you're the only guitar in a jam, you are like the lower end, right? So if you step out, everyone's gonna notice that. If you're one of 7 guitars, if you step out, no one's gonna notice that. Right? So just be aware of where you are in the jam. But yes, 100%. Take a breath and breathe. Right? That's mainly it. That's actually a good point that I want to bring up too. It sounds dumb, but remember to breathe. All right. Like, there's a lot of times I see people that are just like holding their breath while they're taking their solos, or holding their breath right before they start singing, and they run out of breath. So don't do that. Remember to breathe. It's a weird thing, but it's definitely a thing to remember.
Hey Matt, something you said made me wonder something. Can you talk about the layers of instruments and sort of where they fit, like sonically? Like you said, the guitars are like the low end.
Yeah.
Where does everybody else sort of sit?
So I think one of the keys here is to think about the bluegrass band in general as a drum kit, right? It just makes it a lot easier now, kind of for me to contextualize this stuff, right? So the bass player is obviously the bass drum, right? Given that solid foundation, just the ready, steady rhythm, right? The guitar is kind of like the tom-tom, right? It's given like a lower range, but it's not quite like a high range, not quite a low range, but it's you know, it's there, and it's also again given some foundational stuff. Banjo is kind of like the snare, mainly because it's got a snare in it, so it's a snare drum. If anybody doesn't know, that thing in the middle is a snare drum head. It was a joke. It was funny. I swear to God, it was funny.
Well,
I was a drummer, I got it.
actually, like, I don't know drum sets, so this is actually meaning not it doesn't connect with me. I don't know anything about drums.
Okay.
So you made that joke, and I was like, that is funny, but also not.
That's the reason I didn't go to stand-up comedy. Well, continue with my analogy that you don't understand. So the mandolin would be like the hi-hat, right? Hitting on the 2 and the 4 for the most part. In other words, basically, bass is the lowest, guitar is the next. I would say that banjo, fiddle, and mandolin kind of live in the upper registers. But banjo being that it's playing more, notey stuff, like more rolls, that's more like this, like a kind of like type thing. And then the fiddle and the mandolin kind of just live in this ethereal, we just do whatever the heck we want kind of stage, which is great.
The cymbal zone.
The cymbal zone. Yeah. We're cymbals. Make us whatever you want. All right. Does anybody got any questions?
On that part,
First.
the chuck on the fiddle, is that like ideally like a down bow, or is it sort of?
I've heard it, like, I'm not a fiddle player, Gabe might be a little bit more versed in this, but
I don't really like the fiddle chop very much. I only use it when the mandolin is taking a break, if there's only one mandolin, so I can fill in the chop position.
Yeah.
And banjo players will do that too as a cluck sometimes, like that. But yes, generally if you're going to chuck, it'll be a down bow really close to the frog, and it's basically dropping your bow onto your strings, and it makes like a screech basically, but really short. So it's not notes necessarily, but you can finger notes to play chords.
Okay.
But it's entirely a rhythmic thing. So you'll see the fiddlers like tapping it this far out, everything. As long as you can make a chuck sound on the 2 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
there's actually a really good video that I just watched of Michael Cleveland meeting Doc Watson for the first time. And Michael Cleveland's like 10, I don't know. And he's just sitting there, and he's very blind, so he's just sitting there like, ah, just like smacking and he's freaking crushing them. And
It sounds great.
It's amazing. It's a great run. But yeah, so that's going to happen a lot with those type of instruments. Banjo as well. Often, like sometimes you get away with some banjo rolls in your rhythm, but it's, whatever you're doing for rhythm is, remember, you're there to supply the rhythm for the overall, like for the lead basically. So whoever's that lead, if it's the singer or if it's the instrumentation or instrumentalist that's playing, that's your job, right? So you can do some flashy fills here and there, and you'll hear some folks, like especially at mandolin, move up the neck and do like a little tremolo or something like that. But you have to keep the rhythm. Whatever you do, keep the rhythm. It doesn't make a difference, just keep the rhythm. If you think something's too flashy and you're not sure you can get it, maybe don't play that. Just hit the rhythm, all right? You had a question too.
Oh, it's about like waltz time, so
Okay.
maybe it's not. But for like boom chuck chuck on guitar, what's like on mandolin? Is it just you take a break on that first beat, or?
Nope, mandolin's the same. So everyone knows the difference between a waltz and a not waltz. So basically, we're talking so time signatures, right? We got you'll see that there's two here. I swear that they exist, even if you can't see them. 2/4 or 4/4. 2/4 or 4/4 are very, very similar timings. In fact, for the most part, if you're ever confused, you can always just count them the same, right? If you count a 2/4 song and 4/4, it's gonna work. It's not technically right, but you'll be able to get it through, right? The 3/4 timing, or sometimes 6/8, is a waltz time, right? And so you're gonna get, what that ends up being is, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You're gonna get more of a boom chuck, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? That same rhythm applies on the guitar too. Just walking back and forth. This is how I'm gonna get my steps. I'll be so fit when we're done with this. Right, so on guitar, you're gonna hit the low and then kind of move up to the top and hit the top. Right? We have one waltz song that I know is in the book, and that's Angel Dance. That's a great tune too. So I would encourage you guys to explore those as well. Any other questions?
It seemed like you were doing boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck when we were playing together.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than but what it says up there is like a little bit different than what it seemed like you were actually doing. Like the
1,
2 and the
4. My hand moves, but it's
so count that out loud, would you?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? There's also
Okay.
the boom chuck that you can do, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I don't do the like doing the boom chuck can get a little bit messy with guitars, especially as a mandolin player. Getting that low end bass note. My low end bass note as a mandolin player is not low enough, and it can cause some issues. So a lot of people will do just the chuck, right? But you have boom chuck, and every instrument can do boom chuck. This is a really dotted line because it's a quieter boom. It's not like a full it's not the same on guitar where you're like you're not doing that all the way through, right?
So are you not playing eighth notes where the chuck is the other eighth in between?
No.
Okay.
These are all.
You're playing really fast quarter notes.
Yeah, so if I slow it down on the guitar, just to kind of go through that. 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right?
Thanks.
Yep.
Worth noting that some people feel it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Like myself internally, that's how I feel it.
Yeah.
And then when I need to describe it to people, this makes much more sense if you can break it down and count it. It's much better to do that because then you don't have to use eighth notes to describe it. You can describe everything discretely in a 4-beat pattern.
Yeah, it gets confusing, especially when you're looking at sheet music or something like that, and you're like, okay. So, but that's also another point that I really love to raise. And I don't know where you are in your musical journey, whether you know music theory or you don't. There is a common misconception I see a lot in a lot of folks that I have to know theory in order to be able to play music. I need to know this stuff. I need to know the why. Why is this here? Why is this there? The answer is you don't, right? You don't need to know any of this stuff, right? Just like you didn't need to know a lot in order to speak, right? When you were learning to speak, no one was like, here's a dictionary and figure it out, right? You had people giving like conversations to you, right? You had C-spot run, right? That's how you learned to talk. C-spot run became, hey, look at that dog over there, right? You got better because you played, right? You played with your own vocals and you had people to jam with. You talked to folks and you played with those folks. They got you better. And then at some point you went to school and you're like, why the hell am I saying it this way? And you learned the theory behind the thing that you're doing. Theory is only there to describe what you're doing when you're playing. It's not there to tell you how to play, right? And I know that sounds a little backwards, and I'm sure there's people that can argue very well against my point here. But the point I'm really trying to drill home is don't just sit at home and study theory for the sake of doing it. Don't just sit at home and study scales for the sake of doing it. Study the things that you are playing, right? So if you're playing a song and that song happens to be in the key of G and that song happens to be, relatively fast, great. Practice your G scales, practice your arpeggios, practice all that stuff related to that song, and then use it on that song to play with other people so you internalize that information and then continue down that path. Change the key, do it in the key of A instead of G.
It's like you don't buy every tool in like the hardware store, you buy the tool when you have a project that needs the tool.
Exactly, or even rent it sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah. And then forget it.
But does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So don't do what I did, which is think that you have to learn everything, because you don't. That's just a waste of your time. If you have 20 minutes a day, you can learn how to play any instrument. And I'm very serious about that. So that brings me to my next point before we continue with the overall course side of things. Every single day, I expect you guys to pick up your instrument for a minimum of 20 minutes, right? That's not a lot of time, and I know we all have excuses on why we can't do that. But 20 minutes a day, that's it. And to be honest, if that's 10 minutes and then another 10 minutes some other time, okay, that's not the worst. When you do pick up your instrument, have a goal. Don't pick up your instrument and be like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Sit down and say, I'm gonna learn this song. Like this particular song, I'm gonna be able to play this song from start to finish in the next 20 minutes. Figure out what you need to do that. I need to learn how to play these chords. I need to hear the melody. I need to listen to the song. Great, whatever it is. Figure it out, right? 20 minutes a day for a week, you can learn just about any song there is out there. At the very minimum, the chords, enough to play it in a jam, right? And that's what I'm talking about, really. Like, I want you guys to be able to learn songs. Going back to the first point that was raised as, why don't I go to jams? I don't know all the songs. This is the opportunity, right? I would say for all of you guys, I would like you, and I don't need to know this goal, you're more than welcome to share it with me if you'd like. I would like you to walk away with a certain amount of songs that are your songs. You go to a jam, I'm playing that song, right? Over time, I don't want you to play that song every time. So you need to learn more. But start off, I want you, there's 6 weeks in this course, 6 songs, right? That seem fair? Song a week, right? So I don't care what it is. I have 2 suggestions every week that are in here that we're definitely going to go over. So probably learning those is not a bad idea. But be able to lead it, right? And so we're going to cover more of that next week in the how to lead. This is the how to follow section. So we're going to continue with the following side of things. Any other questions? All right, cool. So for those of you who have been in a jam, the leader calls a song. And he says, okay, we're going to do, what was the song this time? Look at that. Also,
Nice
being
catch.
quick with your hands is an important thing on any instrument. I'm a ninja.
Yeah.
I go to Taekwondo right after this. All right, so today we're going over Bury Me Beneath the Willow. Okay, let's just pull that song. So, real quick, I'm just going to kind of touch on this for a quick second. So each song will have this lovely introduction page. I put in the year that it was written so nobody can sue me, because these are all public domain tunes. That means they're free. So there's a form here. You see the verse chorus. So the song just goes verse, chorus, A part, B part is another way to call that. For those of you who read sheet music, I put this in a specific key. This is just the key that I happen to put it in because I probably played in that key. So it's not canon. Like, you can play the song in not the key of G. You can do it in the key of A. I've heard it in B and B flat, something like that too. But if you read sheet music, this is a great way you can learn the melody. It's just a basic melody. It's not any frills. But we're also going to cover this stuff, which is going to be the national numbering stuff, right? So these charts are all of them are available on my website. So if you go to my website, you can just go to the intro, or sorry, go to the jamming, jam songs, or chord charts. Yeah, chord charts. You can go to that, and you can pretty much download any of these as well. But this one here, so you see 1, 4, 1, 5. We're gonna play this in the key of G. So what's the 1?
G.
Cool. What's the 4?
C.
Cool. What's the 1?
G.
What's the 5?
D.
Cool. That's it. All right, you all pass. Basically, if I'm calling this song, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, we're going to play Bury Me Beneath the Willows in the key of G. Likely, that's all the information you're going to get at most jams. The reason being, it's a very popular song. Yes?
How many measures of each, or do you just have to know the song to know how many measures? Is it always one?
This won't tell you here because it's too much information. But this fun thing right here will tell you, right?
Okay.
So in this case, basically, it works out to essentially it's 4 measures per line. It's kind of just how that works, I think. Oh no, okay. So it's basically 1 line here, so 4 measures is equal to, is equal to these 2, right? So this is 2 measures. So it's a measure, a measure, a measure, a measure. Right? Good question. Very good question. So if I was calling the song, I'd say, hey, we're playing Bury Me Beneath the Willows in the key of G. That would be the information that you got, right? In this class, we're going to give you more information than that. Obviously, you have the chart here. If you were calling a song and you're not sure, like maybe you're in a jam with a bunch of beginners or people that haven't heard the song before, hey, this is a song in the key of G. It's a 1-4-1-5. That's it. The verse is the same as the chorus, so there's no need to go over the chorus. So when we're going through this, when we talked about, there's going to be a kickoff by the leader. We're going to have the passing around the solos, and then it's going to come back to the leader, and then we're going to end the song, right? So I'm just going to play through a little bit of this. I encourage you guys to play along. If I see you playing along, I might give you the solo eyes. Does anybody know what the solo eyes are? Super awkward stare, right? That's one way that you're going to get to know if it's your turn to solo, right? As a follower, as someone that's in the jam following, it's your responsibility. This is a bad example here because we're in way too big of a group for you to be able to do this properly, but in a jam setting, when you're in jam, it's your responsibility to let the leader know, let your neighbor know if you are not going to take a break, right? If you're not taking a solo, it's your job to let the person next to you in line know that, hey, I'm skipping way before it's their turn, right? And so we're going to give an example of this where I'm gonna pick on you guys because I know you've been to my jam, so it makes it easy. So
By next to you, the person after you or the person before?
The person after, right? So the person that's coming after you. So we're going to pretend here that we're in a little bit of a circle, right? And so I'm going to pass the solo to you, and then I'm going to take it back, and then I'm going to pass it to you, and then I'm going to take it back, okay? So we're going to do this. If anybody feels comfortable playing along, please do, right? We're going to kick off the song. This is going to be a 1-5-1 intro, right? So we're going to go 1-5-1. Very good. Very, very good. All right. Cool.
The leg thing?
It's the leg thing. That's what we're going to go over, yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Sorry.
So, there's the leg thing, right? How many people know what the leg thing is? All right. For those that don't know, what do you think it is? Serious. All right. You can make fun of me in this class too. That's totally fine. My job is to be dumber than you guys, so you can make fun of me and feel better. God, strap is just not doing me favors. You can tell I don't play this guitar a little. Alright, so you got 2 different ways, 3 different ways, 4 different ways to end the song, right? So 1, kick, right? So the kick means stop, alright? So at the end of the song, usually you're going to be playing the chorus at the end of just about every vocal song that you know. The chorus is going to be the last thing going through. So you go, and she will know that I am sleeping, and perhaps she'll weep for me. Right? Sometimes you'll play a little lick at the end. Sometimes you'll just say, and that's it. That's the end of the song, right? So that's totally cool. That's a great way to do it. Another way to do the kick, sharp instrument raise, right? And perhaps you will. It'd help if I hit the right note there. So those are 2 ways to end the song. Now, if I wanted to do a turnaround, how many people know what a turnaround is? Cool. A turnaround basically is just repeating the last part of the song. Right now, there's a caveat to this. It doesn't always mean repeat the same amount of the last song, right? So again, it's going to be the chorus that you're going to repeat when you see the little the turnaround symbol. I'll show you that in a second. But you're either going to be doing the last line and just the last line, the last 2 lines and just the last 2 lines, or the full chorus again, right? Those are the 3 most common ways. I'm sure someone has done it where they got into the second line. I don't know, just to screw with people. But most of the time, it's going to be the full chorus, half chorus, or just the last line, right? You may be asking, how do I know? That's a great question. I have no idea. The answer really depends on the song. It depends on the player, right? So some songs are pretty straightforward, and they will repeat the full chorus because that's how that song goes. Some songs will repeat the last line because, again, that's just how that song goes. Sometimes it's up to the player, you know? Like, there's a lot of times where you just want to hear the chorus again because it was fun, right? Especially on the chorus, too. Some of you guys were doing this. The chorus is your turn to chime in, right? In a big enough jam setting, yeah, you want to be on key, right, for sure, but we're not all professionally trained musicians. Again, drunk hillbillies, right? I'm telling you, this is the answer. You can sing along, just sing along with the chorus, and, you know, try not to be too far out of key that it's, like, causing some problems. And if you find it's a key that you're like, I feel very uncomfortable in this key, then maybe sit out. But if you feel comfortable in key and you know the lyrics, you know the chorus, 100% sing along. On the turnarounds, though, you're going to essentially have to either know that person, know that song, or be able to follow and watch, right? Following and watching is probably the easiest way to do it because it just is helpful. So the turnaround symbol.
Question.
Yeah.
Oh, you said you could sing along on the chorus. Is it not appropriate to sing along with the verses if you know the words? Does it depend? Is that
Generally, I would say no. I would say you don't want to sing on the verses because that's that other person. It would be similar to like playing a solo over somebody else's solo,
okay.
right? It's not the same exact thing, and there are definitely it's not a hard and fast rule by any stretch of the means. Especially if it's like a very pretty song that really you want a harmony to it, or if you happen to know the harmony line and you want to sing that and you know the person, great. If you're walking into a jam though and you don't really know anybody, don't sing on the verse, sing on the chorus.
Okay.
That's at the most.
Conversely, when it's your break, do you have to sing? If you I'm struggling to sing and play at the same time.
Totally.
That's sort of a novel.
Yeah. So the answer is not. It depends on the jam. Like everything is going to ultimately depend on the jam. But in the ones that we run, that's totally fine. We have people that are like, hey, I don't know the lyrics to this song, but I know this is your favorite song. Could you sing the song for me? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's totally acceptable. One thing I would stress is I also see this a lot too, where people are like, I'm just going to learn fiddle tunes because I don't want to learn how to sing, right? Which is a legit reason to learn fiddle tunes, I suppose. But just know that fiddle tunes are more complex. Their melody is harder than any vocal melody that you're going to run into because you can do way more with this thing than you can do with this thing, right? So you're not making it easier on yourself. You're just changing the hard level, right? So just keep that in mind too. But also for that point, how many people don't feel comfortable singing? Like just in general, like I don't want to sing at any jam. All right, you can be honest. I thought my voice sucked for the longest time, and then I realized I don't give a crap what anybody else thinks, and I'm just going to have fun. And it still probably is about where it was then, but you know, like my confidence level has gone up, and that's great.
My issue is really doing both at the same time. It's like I don't quite have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so. the best way that I found to help with that is very simple. Take this song, right? And just start playing the chords, right? So just play along the progression, right? I'm just hanging out. Well, that's a real progression. And I'm just gonna start having a conversation. That's all I'm gonna do is just try and have a conversation while I'm going through the chords, right? Or maybe I'm watching TV, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just watching TV and hanging out and just playing the chords in the background. Doing this is no different than doing this. It's just that this has an arguably better tone. Right? There's no difference between singing and talking, right? Except when you're a better singer than I am, there is a big difference. Try doing that. That's to be honest, one of the easiest ways that I've seen to kind of break through that, because it's just, you need to take your mind off of playing. Think about it like this. When you're speaking, when you're talking to me and you're telling me anything, are you thinking about the words, or are you thinking about what you're trying to convey? And the ultimate answer is you're trying to convey something. That's what you're focused on, right? It's the same with music. So you get to the point where you stop thinking about the chords and just think about what you want to say. That's where it's going to become super easy. It takes time though. So when I say it's easy, I just mean there's a path to it. There's still work to it. So there's that. Okay. Yes.
With I guess tempo and taking a break. Say you're maybe not at the same skill level as everybody, but you know the tune well enough. And this is coming solely as a fiddle player. I usually play the melody. If I can play the melody, but it's just like a hair slower than the rest of the group, can you technically just kind of slow it down when taking your break, or it's probably just like?
You generally want to keep the tempo because like a hair slower is different than, you know, if you could play a hair slower, you could probably play a hair faster. And so that would be somewhere you push yourself a little bit maybe. But if you have to do it way slower, that's gonna cause a train wreck, that like jarring change of tempo. But I will say that if you start a song slower, right? If you're like, hey, I'm gonna lead this song, I could like Salt Creek is a great example, right? That song is played very fast typically. You know, not super duper fast all the time, but it's played faster, right? I know a lot of people that are learning that have to play it about halftime. That's totally fine. Start it at that, and then know that somewhere in there, you know, maybe like I'll be like, okay, cool, we're gonna kick it up, and then everyone moves up. That works. It doesn't really work the other way though, like for some reason. If you're going fast and you try and go slow, it'll train wreck. But if you're going slow and then you move it up to speed, it usually works. And there's a lot of songs that have that dynamic in it too, that use that same idea. There's a couple of Building Road tunes. I can't remember the name off the top of my head though. Little Georgia Rose, maybe? I don't know. One of those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew there was one. Any other questions?
Yeah, I wasn't quite paying attention to it. I don't think I still know like how the back and forth works between the leader and then like the rest of the group in a vocal song.
Sure.
Like,
well, I'm gonna see Zach stepped out for a second. I'm gonna have you come up here real quick. Hey, by the way, this is Gabe. Gabe, this is
Gabe.
Gabe won the guitar competition for the Outlanders, the Outlander Opry too. So, you get not only the guitar winner, he's the first and only because we've only run it once. But I will say for you guys that play mandolin, on the May Opry, May 28th. The February Opry is coming up, by the way. That's February 28th. 100% you should go. But May 28th, for your mandolin folks, we're having a mandolin competition that day. So if you're interested in joining or just interested in watching and hanging out, either way, it's going to be fun. We're having a very special guest, I believe, hosted. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So definitely show up to that. So real quick, we're going to play this through, and then I'm just going to have you solo, and I'll just tell you to do stuff. Cool. All right.
The big thing is, I'll go over this very much with my jam circle later, is you have to absolutely lock in on the person leading if you want to be a good jammer. You have to pay complete attention, and then you'll know instantly, because at higher levels, it becomes less of a stare and more of a glance, and then they'll nod a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
To that point, in those type of circles, and also in other circles too, if you're not paying attention, you're gonna get skipped.
Yep.
Like, so if all of us are here and I'm looking at you guys and you're off in La La Land, but you're paying
looking
attention,
at the next person.
I'm going for you,
Yeah.
and you guys lose. So there's that too, right? And then also, not every circle, all the circles we run will go in a circle, but not every circle does. Sometimes, especially if there's like 6 guitars, there's like 6 guitars in a row, there's a mandolin player there though. I might be like, okay, you go, and then you go, and then you go, right? So you have to be paying attention at all times to the leader, but you also have to make sure that you're ready to go and you know the melody, know when the chords or the chorus is going through and stuff like that.
Just like as somebody that really only started getting into this maybe like 3 months ago or so, it's when I was first starting, it was very hard to try and maintain that focus because I was so focused on just hitting like the right chords and tempo. So it's like a learning. I mean with everything, but it's like you're not gonna be perfect right away. So like don't be too hard on yourself, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of it is the same thing we were talking to you about, where if you can do the rhythm subconsciously, then you can focus your attention.
Yeah.
So just do that first. Skip your break, maybe. Unless you want to take a break, then please always try.
Yeah.
That's how you get better.
Okay, shall we get down to it?
Yeah, we're going to do the second song here, so if you guys want to play along, you're more than welcome to. We're going to do this one in the key of G as well, mostly because I forgot a capo. I'm also going to introduce you to your other instructors here, because we're going to do a little mini jam. Huh?
Do you want to take
No, we're just going to do the song in the key of G. So we have 2 other instructors here. We have that's Zach Kaufman over there. He's tuning up, right? And that's Cole Holman right there, and he's not tuning up because he's already tuned.
We hope. Hey,
Come on up.
One thing in the book on this, the sheet music is in the key of D, but the recommended listening is in the key of A.
Yeah, that'll happen.
That's what the numbers are for, right?
Yeah. Just use the numbers.
Yeah. No problem.
Someone's gonna call it at the jam and B flat, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good point. I would like to say that I'm the best book writer in the entire world, and Lord knows I try. There's mistakes in this. I know that there's a few. I found them already. But please tell me if you find them, or if you think there's a mistake, just let me know because maybe I can just clarify something for you too. Often the suggested listening in this does not necessarily reflect the key that we're playing it in. This reflects more of generally from a, hey, you're new to jamming, what's going to be the easiest key for you? There's no B flats in here, for example, but there's plenty of songs that I would play in the key of B flat. Like Better Beneath the Willow, probably B or B flat for me in a lot of cases, but I played in G a lot too. So anyway, we're going to do this song. So you guys are going to solo and just watch me. I want you to pass the solo, and then I'll come back to you. Don't worry, we'll get solo. So you're going to pass the solo, okay? So this is what's going to happen, basically. Cole does not want a solo. Cole is not going to tell Zach this right away. Zach does not know this.
I know very little.
But you're going to watch the interactions here, right? So get in. We're going to do a half circle, so you guys need to switch now.
right now we're assuming
There.
Cole is taking a solo.
Yes, so we're assuming Cole's taking a solo, and then this is also a circle. It's not an oval this way. All right, ready? We're gonna do 1-5-1 again, right? So 1-5-1 is just 1 G 5 G, right? So we go 1. I got high. Solo, but I'm trying to be conscious of time, so forgive me for that. But where'd you go with the kick? Everyone got the kick? All right, so a couple things. Did everyone notice the acknowledgement, the solo acknowledgement, the solo eyes, right? He was first in line, but even if I didn't do that, he's also the first after the verse. Most of these songs, especially Hand Me Down My Walking Cane, but you can step just a little bit further, There you
First
go.
half of the chorus.
There's a lot of lyrics, right? So in this case, you're usually going to see first chorus and then first break goes right away. Some songs that have a few less lyrics, it might be a little different. If they have a lot more, you might hear like first chorus, things like that. This song though, generally, verse, chorus, break, right? So first break. Got to Cole's break. What did Cole do wrong?
Didn't look at him.
No. Cole didn't announce it until I gave him the eyes, right?
Oh.
So Cole should have. That's not how I put you on the spot here.
I looked at him.
You did. But in this jam, I'm overbearing, right? I am making sure you solo and I'm making sure you get the next one. So, but that's not going to happen in every other jam. A lot of times, you'll see the soloist or the vocalist might expect, especially if there's like 10 people, there's going to be a couple people taking the breaks, right? We're going to cover how to do the musician's math for how many people get solos in each break, each section. We'll cover that next week a little bit more. But generally, you want, if you're thinking of your solo break as this, right? Which, by the way, anytime there's a solo break, in your head, not vocally, in your head, sing the melody, right? No, that's an easy way to keep on point where you are, right? Because sometimes the person taking the solo is going to go way off the rails. They're going to go way off the melody. Sing the melody in your head, right? Not out loud, in your head. Do that, and you'll stay on point. But right about here, at the minimum, and at the very minimum here, this is where you need to tell your neighbor, I'm not going to take a break, right? If you do it here, the chances of a train wreck are significantly high, but even the best case scenario, when you do it here, and if he said, hey, just do that, he misses his beginning of the break. He's probably going to screw this part up because he's not paying attention. He's not ready for it. It's not his break. So he's going to mess up this part, and then that's going to screw up a lot of other stuff. So it's not going to be as much fun. So if you aren't taking a break in any jam, and by the way, this jam that we're doing to do the breakout sessions, you're encouraged to take solos. We're going to cover your first solo break, I think, in week 3, which is going to be pretty basic. If you want to get a head start on that, all you have to think about is the key that you're in and the major chords, the chord tones in that song. If you follow those along, that'll be the way to do it. I'll put a little bit more information about that, in the syllabus. Any questions?